Hello, hello. Great morning, great morning. Great morning. Hello to our replay viewers. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending upon what time you are checking in with us. Welcome. If we have never met before, my name is Demita McGee. I am the co-owner of a company with my amazing husband called Christian Business International. Way too much. Christian Business Academy Worldwide. And I do that every single morning. And so great morning to you. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. I don't know if you stumbled upon us. I don't know if someone shared you or shared us with you, but whether or not doesn't matter. We're grateful that you're here. I want you to know that you have come upon us at a really good time, because what we are doing, you guys are, my husband and I, what we do is we help people understand the biblical principles that, that help them with build their business. And we also give them success strategies for financial abundance and abundance in business. And so what we're doing right now is we're reviewing this amazing book, which is called The 21-Day Financial Fast, written by Michelle Singletary, you guys. And it is a wonderful book. You have caught us on day 5 of the 21-Day Financial Fast. Here we go, right here. Title of the book here. Let's see if I can get that up there. Yes. And that is her name. And we are currently on day number 5. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are one of our loyal viewers, what's up? Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. Let's do what we always do. Make sure you share it with an accountability partner. Make sure you share it with someone that you love, that you care about, because guess what? People need this information. And so I'm going to do exactly what it is that I'm telling you to do, because that is what we do. We share this information in a couple of communities, you guys, a couple of communities. There's our 21-day financial fast community with Team McGee. That would be me and my husband. So we share it there. We also share it in our free coaching community, the Women's Business Academy. We share it there as well. Okay. And, you're more than welcome to join us in any of those communities. There's a fly in here. You guys, we've been fighting flies for some reason. There are flies getting in our house, and I have killed probably 4 in the last several days, and it's driving me crazy. All right. And let me go ahead and tag here as well. Just make sure everybody knows what's happening. And what I do is I tag accountability partners, but I also tag people who definitely listen in, who watch this, loyal viewers. And I like to make sure that they know we are live. So let's go ahead. Let's dig in. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and begin with prayer. Great morning, Heavenly Father. Thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of another miraculous day, Father. You covered us while we slept. We woke up another morning, and we are excited about today. So thank you for allowing us to be a part of this day, for this is the day that you have made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. Father God, we thank you this morning for being so diligent and so faithful. Father God, please forgive us for any of those things that we've done that were not pleasing in your sight, any of those sins, whether we thought it, whether we said it, whether we actually did it, but reveal it to us so that we can turn away from it, because it is our prayer that we can be more and more like you. So as we dig into day 5, the evils of entitlement, God, I ask you to open our hearts and open our minds, because this is not an easy chapter. This is a look in the mirror chapter. And when you do, you see your own face. And so, Father, give us grace today. Be merciful with us today. But God, as you always are, be honest and revealing. But open our hearts so that we can receive whatever it is that you want to share with us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen, amen, amen. All right, y'all. So listen, day 5. Let me tell you, day 5 is not an easy day. Okay. Let me just be honest with you. And let me just tell you, day 5 is not an easy day. Today is all about, let me fix this here. Today is all about the evils of entitlement. And it sounds terrible, the evils of entitlement. And I want to give a shout out to you guys who are watching live. It is Sunday morning. And you are here and you are fitting this in before you go worship, before you go to church, whether you are back in your building or you are still worshiping online, you are fitting this in. And so shout out to you as you are tuning in live. And then shout out to our replay viewers who are consistently viewing these every single day. Shout out to you for your commitment. Remember, I said these 21 days, if you could commit to yourself for 21 days, some things can change for you. And we are literally over the halfway point in the first week, day 5. See, day 4, that's the halfway point. We are now on the other side of the halfway point for the very first week. I want you to know week 1 is almost done. All right. And then all we have is 2 weeks left after that. So let's keep it in perspective. So yes, day 5 is about the evils of entitlement. And the main point of this chapter is this. A sense of entitlement, could be getting in the way of God blessing you. A sense of entitlement can be getting in the way of God blessing you. You know, the reason that this chapter stands out in my mind so much is because this is that chapter where my husband, he said to me that chapter was really good. Great morning, Laskaya. I see you, beautiful. He said to me that chapter was really good because my husband will often say, I work hard. I deserve it. He would often say that. And before reading this book, I knew I would get annoyed by that, but I didn't understand what it was because I could not debate him. The truth is he does work very hard, and so I couldn't debate him on that, but I still knew that there were some things that we could adjust. We were being wasteful, and it's not just him. Let me not say it as if it's just him who's wasteful. It is also me who's wasteful. And so I knew we could make some adjustments. So it would drive me crazy, but I didn't have the words, I didn't have the wisdom to be able to explain what my heart knew, but my mind didn't understand how to find the words to actually share it. And so when he read this chapter, he said he knew it was something that he struggled with. He understood that a sense of entitlement was something that he struggled with, and he didn't even realize it at first. Yes, this chapter hits home, and so hold on just a moment because, all right. So yes, this chapter definitely, it hits home because we don't know it's something. If you've ever said, listen to this, you guys, listen to this. Have you ever said any of these things? Any of these things? I work hard. And when you say it, it's true. It's not a fabrication at all. It's true. I work hard. Okay. I didn't have a lot as a child. You can't take it with you. YOLO, you only live once. Okay. I can afford it. I can put it on my credit card. Hey, Shaquaylin, good morning. I can put it on my credit card. It's on sale. Everybody has one. I deserve the best. Well, if I'm going into debt, I might as well have what I want. What will people say if I don't wear the right clothes, drive a nice car, or send my children to the best schools? If my neighbors can have it, I can too. I want my children to have it better than I did. God wants me to be happy. If you've ever said any of those things, you honestly could be suffering from entitlement issues. Now, we don't realize it because we've internalized it since we were so young. So we don't even know it's happening. That's what's so crazy. And so this chapter hits home for a lot of us. And the reason that I like it so much is because it's from an objective party. Michelle doesn't know us. She doesn't know us at all. Right? So we can read this book and we're like, wow, that's me. But if your mother tried to tell you, if your best friend tried to tell you, if your spouse, your significant other, your sister, your brother, if they tried to tell you you had entitlement issues, you would think they were insane. You would think they didn't know what they were talking about. But when an objective party like Michelle Singletary, who does not know you at all, she just writes about it in a book and you read it and you start to reflect and God starts to convict your heart. You start feeling like, oh, I do have this issue. I do. So she starts it with a really, really, really good story. Like the story is so good. The story is this. You are not the only one. Someone says, yes, I have often felt like the word deserve is oh, well, no, you might be one of the only ones. I read that wrong. A lot of the times, like I never saw it that way. Someone says, I often felt like the word deserve is an entitlement word. I get that now, but you couldn't have convinced me of that before. You couldn't have, because I would think like they do work hard. They do deserve it. I never even realized it was an entitlement thing. I never even realized that. So that's why this chapter really, really hits home for a lot of us, because we didn't realize we are entitled. And it starts very, very young. It starts very young. I think about how our children, if they do well, we're like, well, they deserve it. They're doing good. Really? Can you afford it? If you can't afford it, then guess what? They don't deserve it. If you can't afford it, guess what? You don't deserve it. There are other ways to celebrate versus going into debt or spending money that you should be using to take care of your debt. There are other ways to take care and help people who deserve something good because they did well, and they should be rewarded for what they've done. It doesn't involve you going into further debt or ignoring debt you have so you can reward someone for something. Figure out another way. And so she tells this really great story that when she does the prosperity partner, she'll often ask for people to share their testimony. And oftentimes it's hard, and she has to pry a little bit pry just to get people to share. But once they open up, they open up. Well, in this particular case, this one young lady, she was excited. She was like, hey, I couldn't wait to share my testimony. My name is Keisha. I cut back on my spending. I felt liberated. I was so excited. I did what I needed to do so I could save up for this trip, so I could take my mom to Jamaica, to Bahamas, for Mother's Day. And I'm so excited because I did the fast. I saved. I put the money aside. I didn't go into debt for it. I'm good. Keisha is excited. And the Holy Spirit must have been working that day. Because the next question Michelle asked was, do you have any debt? Now, Michelle didn't know Keisha at all. She didn't know her financial situation at all. She didn't know any of this. So when she asks her, do you have debt? Credit card debt. Keisha admitted she did. She asked her how much credit card debt she had. Keisha admitted that she had $8,000 worth of credit card debt. And so she asked her how much was her trip. And she said it was $2,500. And she said, point blank, you can't afford your trip. You don't deserve to go on that trip. And like the air just left the room. Just left the room. Because see, everybody's like, you're being too hard on her. You can feel it. Everywhere. She said she could feel it in the room. People were thinking she's being way too hard on her. She saved this $2,500. She did not go into debt for it. She cut in places so she could take her mother on a trip for Mother's Day. And Michelle said she stood fast and she told her, listen, you're not entitled to that trip and you don't deserve that trip. Not yet. Because that $2,500 could have gone to pay down your credit card debt. This is where we get in trouble, okay? This is the sentence that helps. It says, her story illustrates that just because you save up for something, that doesn't mean you get a pat on the back if you still have debts to pay. That's what her story illustrates. So at first, Keisha was upset. At first, she wasn't happy. At first, Michelle just deflated all the joy that she had about saving for this trip and not going into debt. But her testimony that she writes down in the book, she says, Michelle was right, as always. Although my attitude had taken a move in the right direction, y'all hear this? Listen, my priorities were not in the right place. I did take my trip since it was paid for and non-refundable, but I took only cash with me for spending money. Sometimes tough love and no nonsense straight talk from a person without an ulterior motive is what we all need. It's what I needed. The hardest thing was to admit that I had entitlement issues. You guys, that's strong. That's powerful. This fly, oh my God, this fly for the love of all things holy. And so what does it mean? What is entitlement? What does it mean? Okay, so to feel entitled is to believe you deserve something, such as a certain home or a certain car or a certain lifestyle. How many of us are guilty of, I will raise my hand before I even ask the question. How many of us are guilty of, listen, I deserve that. I deserve that life. Like, why shouldn't I have that life? I deserve that house. I deserve what I'm fighting for, right? How many of us, this fly does not even know. He does not even know. Y'all, he's not making it through this morning. Okay. So how many of us have done that? She says it's exactly what Solomon said when he said, or it's exactly what Solomon meant when he said this: I denied myself nothing my eyes desired. I refused my heart no pleasure. My heart took delight in all of my labor, and this was the reward for my toil. Listen, have you ever said to yourself, you deserve something because of all your hard work? Now is the perfect time for me to say that Solomon was not a perfect man. We use him often when we talk about wisdom. We use him often. And so one of the things that God said to him was that he would live a long life if he kept his commandments. Well, one of the commandments Solomon just could not keep was he could not keep his hands off these women. He could not keep his eyes off these women. And so it was a commandment who he could date. It was a commandment who he could marry. And so he ended up breaking one of the 10 commandments because one of the women that he married or loved or something had idols. And so God is specific. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. And as a result, Solomon did not live a long life. So Solomon was wise. But when he said he denied his heart nothing, he said, listen, I denied myself nothing my eyes desired. That included women. And so entitlement issues. I could see it now. I'm wise. I take care of all these Israelites. Are you kidding me? I deserve to have the women that I want. I work hard. When you look at everything that he built, even architecturally and structurally in that kingdom, I know he was like, listen, I deserve everything. We built all these things. We've done all this. We've made this kingdom great. I deserve this stuff. And so entitlement is when you feel like you deserve something, and it just builds into that. So what are some examples of some of the things that we feel entitled to? A vacation, a luxury car, a house, designer clothes, the perfect wedding, an Ivy League education for you or your children, dining out, entertainment, the latest electronic gadgets, the new iPhone, the new Android, the new MacBook. For me, it's the Remarkable 2 notebook. All the things, the new beautiful big smart flat screen TV, all the things, okay? All the things. That's what we feel entitled to. And so every day that we're tackling this issue of entitlement, every single day that this happens, guess what happens? It's keeping us down financially every single time. So yesterday, I took some meat out of the freezer to cook for dinner, okay? And so my husband was like, what are we eating? Like, what y'all want to eat? I was like, oh, I'm going to take care of it. Don't worry. I go in the kitchen. I'm looking for the meat that I took out. Oh, before this, he was like, I'm feeling some chicken and fish. I was like, I'm feeling what's in the kitchen. So I go and I look and I'm looking for the meat that I took out, and I look in the refrigerator. It's not there. I'm like, someone moved it. Let me just find it so I can cook. He was making quesadillas last night. I was prepared. Someone put it back in the freezer. I was like, no! Who put this back in the freezer? I'm trying not to scream because people are still asleep in my house. He was like, I did. I thought you bought it yesterday morning and left it out on accident. No, baby, I didn't. You couldn't shoot me a quick text, ask me a quick question. He was like, oh, my bad. Because I went to the grocery store yesterday to pick up a couple of items. He thought it was one of those items and I forgot to pick it up. Honest error. But it's late. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you figure out dinner. You figure it out. And the entire time I'm just like, there goes my investment. That $30 that you just spent on that chicken. Because at first he asked me what I want. He was like, oh yeah, you're doing a financial fast. Yeah, I'm cooking in the kitchen. That's what's happening. But then I was like, you know what? I felt so defeated after that meat was back in that freezer. Everything was frozen. That's why I took some, everything's frozen. The house is full of food, but it's all food you have to make. right? There's nothing prepared ahead of time. And I had planned, y'all. I was prepared. And so the reason that I bring that up is because this was a source of our entitlement issues in our house. This was one of the parts where we would struggle because my husband would constantly, on his way home from work, he would stop and he would grab something at the restaurant to eat. And this was a big issue for us. And I'm like, babe, would you please stop? You are on your way home. Instead of stopping, if you feel like there's not the right kind of breakfast food here, because you'll notice one of the things on this list is dining out. But you know what we do nowadays? We don't dine out for real. Nowadays, we fast food it to death. Like there are restaurants on every single freaking corner, everywhere. And so on his way home from work, he would stop at Burger King and grab a meal on his way home from work, right? And what would happen is Burger King is maybe a mile away, maybe, right? In between our house and Burger King is a grocery store that takes 5 minutes to go in, grab some breakfast meat, grab something else, bring it home if what you want is not here, for us to cook it, and everybody eats for the exact same price that you paid for your one little sandwich or your one little meal at Burger King. And it would frustrate me so much because great, you've eaten. Now everybody else is still hungry. And now I still got to go to the grocery store if something's not here. It would frustrate me. Or I still got to cook. Like it is I want it and I want it now. And I remember one of the things that he would say was, listen, I work hard. I could grab something to eat. You do work hard. But that was where my heart was like, this is wrong. But my head didn't have the words to explain how ridiculous this is. You're just impatient. Drive home for breakfast. Right? And so it's that entitlement. And when you look back at your bank account, okay, because I know this is not just my family. It's not, because if I made dinner or something, I've reduced the amount of times that I make dinner during the week because of how much I work. And so I'll have things that the kids can grab, that he can grab himself. It's not a full meal, but it's stuff that they can grab themselves and kind of put together. Right now, everything's frozen in the house. So I need to pick up some more, grab, put together, make a sandwich type things. So when I would make dinner, I'm like, you want to take something for lunch? Nope, I'm good. But when he gets to work, he's all up in the vending machine. Oh my God, the vending machine in the middle of the night, Burger King in the morning. All of our investments are in your stomach. That is why I constantly say to people, don't tell me you don't have money. You ate it. If you went to Chipotle, if you went to McDonald's, if you bought chicken that was prepared already out of Jewel, if you went to Burger King, Sonic, Checkers, White Castles, Panera, I don't know, Potbellies, Portillo's, Chick-fil-A. The list is endless. If you've gone to any of those places this week, Starbucks, and bought a meal or bought some fries, or the place that's just the neighborhood shack where you live, you have the money to do what you need to do. You're eating it. And in the United States, that's a huge problem for us because why? The world is enticing. It absolutely is enticing. And so she puts it this way. It's perfect. She says it's not completely your fault that every day you're tempted to treat yourself to whatever you want. Whatever you want, regardless of whether you have the cash to pay for it or not. We are bombarded with advertising messages that encourage us to give in to our sense of entitlement. Let me tell you something. It starts so early. It starts early because I look at my kids, for example, who watch YouTube. They don't even watch regular TV anymore. They just watch YouTube. Like that is their TV nowadays for the kids. Constant commercials. My husband is a huge TV watcher, traditional television, constant commercials. And so he'll ask me for something random to eat. Random. It's food for some reason. Like the food. That's why we are just like the fattest country on the planet, because it's all day food. And so he'll ask me for some random meal. What? I'm like, where'd you get that from? And then I'll be sitting down with him for a few minutes and I'll see the commercial and I'll see exactly where it came from. My daughter is constantly asking me for what's called merch. What kind of merch, honey? Can I get some Preston's merch? No. Preston is one of the YouTubers that she watched, and they sell merchandise on these YouTube channels. Constant bombarding, constant. They are constantly asking, can I go to the store for this? Can I go to the store for that? And they're not necessities, they're all wants. My son, can I go get a gift card for gaming because he likes to play these games? Can I go get a gift card for gaming? My daughter, can I get this toy? Can I get that toy? Can I get this merch? Can I have this gum? It's constant. It's literally daily because they are bombarded with advertisements just like adults are bombarded with advertisements. So if it's happening to me, I know that it's happening to you. So what does that mean? That means entitlement issues begin in childhood and we carry them all the way through adulthood. So listen, she says, I understand that you want so much out of your life. I get that you may have felt deprived as a child, or perhaps you were spoiled as a child. It's hard to shake these feelings, especially when it appears that everyone else around you is getting what they want. Man, listen, I remember my husband saying, there's some people that he works with, and he knows that in addition to what they do at work, they're doing some things that are not quite legal. He knows this, right? And so he's like, it just makes me so mad because you go to work every day, you work so hard, and I feel like, I remember him saying this before, I feel like I could not get ahead and all these different things. He was like, but they are, I know they're doing stuff they're not supposed to do. And so when she says, it's hard to shake these feelings, especially when it appears everyone else around you is getting what they want, I get that because I remember having that conversation with him a few years ago. I realized that you work hard. Still, you aren't entitled to what you want until you can truly afford it. That's the difference. We're talking about that feeling of entitlement when you can't afford what it is you're buying. Listen, if all your debts are paid, okay. Maybe you can afford it. I get that. But if they're not, y'all, come on. So how can you recognize entitlement? And we're about to wrap up. This isn't going to be a long day. Wait a minute. LaSkaya shared something. It's too big for me to put on the screen. It would cover my face. So, but I want you guys to see that it is here. Okay, it's here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read it. It just happened to me yesterday. I am guilty. I have a confession. I bought a swimming suit because I did not want to drive 20 minutes to my house to get my swimming suit from home. So the solution, I decided to pack my gym bag and take it with me every day so I'll have what I need. Then I purchased McDonald's. And for what? Solution for what? What does that say? Solution for that. Oh, solution for that is I'm gaining weight back. So I've decided to stop fast food, go on a fast, start the JJ Smith green smoothie cleanse with things I already have at home. And you want to know what's powerful about everything you just said? You recognized it. And most of the time we recognize it when we're doing it, but we just don't feel like doing what we have to do. You didn't feel like driving 20 minutes, so you just bought a new swimming suit. You know what I mean? And when you think about it, you're like, it's just a swimming suit. It's just $10, $20, $30, $40. It's just a swimming suit. But no, it's not just a swimming suit. That $10, $20, $30, $40 in crypto, when you invested in something, that money grows for you. But now it's just gone. I get exactly what you're saying. I get it. LaSkaya says also, this chapter was for me. I've been dealing with feeling privileged. Man, listen, it is not just you. So she gives us some things that help us kind of recognize our sense of entitlement. So to get rid of your sense of entitlement, what you want to do is you want to recognize it, see what you're doing, ask the questions, kind of reflect like LaSkaya just did real time here with us. So number one, looking back at your life, can you identify a time when a sense of entitlement may have sabotaged your finances? Can you think about when you thought, well, I deserve that. I should have it. I could think about it so many times with food, especially, or with clothes, especially. I can think about it so many times, right? Here's another way to recognize it so you can get rid of it. Ask yourself another question. Has pride ever driven you to purchase something you didn't need or you could not afford? Absolutely. For us, absolutely. We've been on trips, vacations that we absolutely should not have gone on. No question. No question. Okay. Number 3, have you tried to convince yourself that luxurious wants are really needs in order to justify spending money that you didn't have? Like, ask yourself those questions. Write about that today, because entitlement could honestly be robbing you of your financial peace. It honestly can. It could just be robbing you of money, and it's happening on a daily basis and you don't even realize it. Okay. Now, she's saying this. She said, I'm certainly not saying you shouldn't want nice things for yourself, but at what cost? When do the wants end? I've seen the ramifications of people getting what they say they deserve. They end up in homes that are beautiful, but they have to work long hours away from the home to pay the mortgage. They buy cars with monthly payments that are more like mortgages. People with a sense of entitlement take great vacations only to come back to voicemail messages from creditors trying to hunt them down. For those whose entitlement issues are clothes or shoes, they look nice, but their bank accounts are in tatters. You guys, this is so good. She uses an example. Oh my God, this is a big example. She uses an example of children and parents who buy their children cell phones. So a sense of entitlement, an example that she uses is this. She was at a school and she was doing some type of presentation. In the middle of the presentation, this kid jumps up because his phone rings. So he gets up and he's leaving the room, right? And she's like, wait, who's on the phone? And why are they calling you right now while you're in class? Because she's doing this presentation during class time. And guess what his answer was? It's my mom. Like, the student snapped at her. It's my mom. She's calling me about a doctor's appointment. She's calling to remind me. His mom called him on his cell phone during class, when he's not supposed to be on the cell phone. Now, you want to know the other part? Is it wasn't even time for his doctor's appointment. Now, you want to know the other part? If she really needed to get a hold of him, guess what she could do? She could call up to the school and get a note sent to his class. Or guess what else she could do? Go up there. So what we do is we create these beasts. We create this problem in our children. So I remember, it wasn't last year because the kids were not physically in school last year due to the pandemic. It was the year before. I needed to get a message to my son. Okay. And so I called up to the school and I talked to the person at the front in the office, and she was like, okay, I'll get it to him. And when I called back, I said, I'm sorry. I hope I'm not bothering you, because I'm probably one of the only kids, I have one of the only kids up there without a phone. She was like, you're not bothering me at all. There are a couple of you guys, your kids do not have phones, and it's okay. We will get the message to them. And guess what? And it was about a doctor's appointment. He had a doctor's appointment and I had to take him in the middle of the day. I did not have a choice. And so we could not get it any other time. And I don't remember the circumstances around it, but it was something that was required and needed to be done. So I had to take him out of school in the middle of the day to do it. And guess what I ended up doing? Going into the school so I could get him so we could go to the doctor's appointment. But he certainly does not have a cell phone. And 2, I wouldn't call him in the middle of the day. So that would encourage him to listen to it. I'm mom. So what does that mean? Oh, mom's calling. I need to check this regardless of where he is in class. So I'm teaching him to disrespect the environment that you're in, to answer the phone when I call while you're in school. Right. And so as parents, as grandparents, we got to think about what we do that causes this issue for our children, causes it to start or encourages it. So why do our children need cell phones at this age? And I get it. Times are changing, but my kids still aren't getting a cell phone. They're not. Times haven't changed that much, right? I don't need them. My son, who's a freshman in high school now, really nagging me about this phone, and he's still not getting it. Mom, what if something happens at school? Dude, you are 1 mile away. We pick you up. We drop you off. What are you talking about? Well, what if something happens on the way home? You're in the car with us. We pick you up. We drop you off. What are you talking about? Well, what if something happens in the building? You're in a school. Do you not think that you can find a way to communicate with me? Like, what are you really talking about? You don't need a phone. My daughter will be 8 in a week. She's been asking me for a phone since she was 5 in kindergarten. No, you're not getting a phone. That makes no sense. What do you need a phone for? And you know what it is? Because their friends have phones. That's what it is. What I did was got our son an iPod a few years ago. And that's as close as he's getting to a phone. He's not getting a telephone. My children don't need cell phones. So they can have all these, so they can have challenges. And now we got to navigate social media. So I got to deal with, now we got to have the conversation about appropriate conversations. He's in that puberty age where we know hormones start kicking in. So we got to talk about new pictures, not accepting new pictures, not sending, like we got to have that conversation. We already got to have the sex talk. You know what I mean? So what they introduce problems that honestly we don't need right now. We don't need, he doesn't need. You're not even responsible enough for a cell phone right now. No. And why would I add to a bill when you don't need it? Like, it's one thing if you actually needed it. Now, let's just say, for example, we were in a position where my son literally had to catch the bus for 2 hours to get to school. Like, he had to catch the bus 2 hours one way because he went to a school that was like on the north side of Chicago because it was some special school for some special reason that he attended, and we couldn't get him there. So he had to take public transportation. And then, okay, maybe I would think about it then. Maybe that's a huge maybe, but we're not in that situation. His school is a mile away from the house. I could walk there. You're not getting a phone. It's not going to happen. Because then we got to look at just so many things that it could introduce that we don't need to worry about. We just don't. Right? LaSky says, my kids couldn't have a phone until they could pay their own bill. Yes. Tanisha said, that's the way we had to do things. When I took the girls to school, I could go to the office, let them know that I would be there picking them up early. Even at Anaya's high school, they made us come in and sign them out at the office. Absolutely. Guess what? It used to work. And it still does work. I'm not opposed to technology. I'm not opposed to advancement. What I'm opposed to is us making it more convenient for our children to get in more trouble, for our children to get more exposure to things. What we need to do is make sure we're teaching them properly. So once they're exposed to things, they know how to handle those things. Right now, my son does not need a cell phone. No. We've even had to have the pornography conversation because he has an iPod. An iPod is basically a cell phone that does not make calls. It does the same thing. So we've had to have the pornography conversation. Like, dude, let me tell you something. It don't seem like it now. Me and his dad literally we have candid conversations with our children because, hey, guess what? If we don't talk to them, their 14-year-old friends who know nothing about sex will try to explain it to them. And if we don't talk to them, guess what? When they're 8, their 8-year-old friends will think. I will never forget watching an episode of what was the show with Nell? Oh God, I forgot the name of the show with Nell Carter. But I'm watching the show, and the youngest girl in the family, Sam, I think was her name. Sam thought she got pregnant because she kissed the boy. Right? She thought she got pregnant. Now I can only imagine my 7, soon to be 8-year-old daughter, the things that they think, the things that they say. I don't remember what I thought at that age, but I know at 14, I was an idiot. I know at 14, there are a lot of things. Yes, give me a break. That's exactly what it was, Tanisha. Thank you. I remember at 14, not knowing anything, and you think you know everything. So we've had to have the pornography conversation. Things like, listen, son, let me tell you something. It may not seem like a big deal right now, but it's going to be a big deal later because people are as addicted to pornography as they are addicted to drugs. And it is a difficult addiction for people to break. Difficult. And it may not seem important now, but when you get addicted to that, I literally told my son, I said, let me tell you something. When you get married, your wife ain't doing what you see on these videos. Because that stuff's not realistic. So don't get addicted to it now. So we literally had to have a real conversation. So guess what happens when we introduce a cell phone into the family? Now we got to have that conversation. We don't need you looking at nude pictures of your friends who going in the bathroom taking pictures of their boobs. Like stuff like that is why. And that's why we got to tackle entitlement issues, because we don't understand what entitlement leads to. Y'all feel me? Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense, because your kids, they feel entitled because they're looking at their friends with phones. They're looking at their friends that have these phones like, wait a minute, well, why can't I have one? My friend has one. Well, guess what? I'm not your friend's mama. And if I was, they wouldn't have one either. I mean, all these kids have phones. All of them. No, you won't have one. So it leads to other things, right? Now, how do we get rid of entitlement? How do we do it? How do we do it? Once we recognize it, what do we do to get rid of it? Because what a lot of us have all recognized is that we all have it. And this is the other thing that I want you guys to know. If this is your first time doing this with us, because we've done this fast multiple times, I want you to know that guess what? You're going to read this book. You're going to implement some of these things. You're going to fix some things. God's going to convict your heart. He's going to change some things inside of you. And guess what? You're still going to struggle with some stuff. You still are, because we're human. And you're still, it's not like, oh, I just read this chapter on entitlement. I'm about to do this exercise, the assignment for the day. And oh my God, my entitlement issues are gone. No, it won't work like that. What's going to happen is now you're aware. Now you're aware, and now you can recognize it, and now you can start to work on it. But it takes a minute to uproot these things, get them out of your heart, for God to keep working with you so he can do that supernatural surgery with absolute precision, so he can get it out. Those places that you don't, the innermost places of your heart and your spirit that you don't give us access to, God has access to all of that. And so that's where he can do his surgery with his scalpel and remove some things and just layer by layer remove it and take it out. And then you look up, and a year from now, 2 years from now, however long that journey is, we don't know, but however long it is, he has removed that from you. And now you can recognize it and continue to grow in wisdom when you catch yourself feeling and being entitled again. All right. So how do we fight this thing now that we know? How do we get rid of it? It is by having an attitude of gratitude. Okay. She says one of the surest ways to combat the evils of entitlement is to develop a grateful attitude. We want so much for ourselves and our family that we often don't stop to look at what we really already have, right? And so when we stop to look at it, hold on just a second. I'm doing a video, honey. Yes, you can. Okay. So when we stop and we look at what we have, it helps us get rid of that sense of entitlement. So here are some things that we can try that will also slow down impulse purchases. Okay. 1, exercise self-control. Wait 30 days before you buy something. You see it, you like it, wait. I have done this where I'm like, okay, I'm going to wait. I'm going to see if I want it. I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to wait and see if I still want it later, then okay, good. I'm going to get it. But if I don't, okay, cool. So just wait. Okay. You will find that some of the stuff that you're excited about when you first see it, you decide, oh, I don't want that. I'm good. I'm good on that. Establish financial priorities. This is a good one. When you stay focused on getting the things that you say you really value, you won't waste your money. You won't. Let me tell y'all what feels, not felt, but what feels so good when I add more money to we got a savings account over there. When I add more money to that savings account, when I buy more investments, in one of our asset classes, we use cryptocurrency. So when I buy more crypto assets, it feels so good to take that money and put it over there and buy it. And we've been recently investing in crypto assets that also you can stake. And what stake means, that's a fancy word for you can earn interest on them. So we've been investing in that. And some of these interest rates are 5%, 12%, 8%. And for my bank, I know we only get 1.5%. So I'm like, let's go. That feels good. So when you have financial priorities, we're really focused on, I was having a conversation yesterday with the Jaqueline Burnham, and we were having that conversation, and what I was talking about was, we were talking about one of the streams of income that we have. We want to have it as a 7-figure stream. And so I was sitting down and I was like, okay, this is what I want. I want a 7-figure stream of coming in from our Forex investments, our Forex trading. Okay. We want to build. Right now, our first goal is a 6-figure investment portfolio in cryptocurrency, and we'll build that even to 7. And then our e-commerce store, I also would like for that to be a 7-figure stream. We're working on these piece by piece by piece, right? I haven't quite yet decided what I'm looking at in terms of coaching, what that stream looks like yet. It may also be a 7-figure stream, but they're all individual, various streams of income. And then we'll look at what are the other asset classes where we should be focused on investing, so we could also continue to have active investments and also some passive investments, long-term investments and some shorter-term investments, like really looking at what that means, right? And so when you have financial priorities, that's why I looked at that chicken last night, like that could have went in crypto if you hadn't put my meat back in the freezer. True story. That's how I was looking at it, like, ugh. We could be one step closer to this 6-figure portfolio if you hadn't put my meat back in the freezer. So establish some financial priorities. Calculate. This is a good one, you guys. This is on page 80. She says, calculate how long you have to work to get things you feel you're entitled to. There's a website that she gives, and it says it has a time is money calculator. And what you can do is it will take your tax bracket into account, but let's just say you earn $40,000 a year and you've worked so hard that you feel like you deserve this $2,000 TV. What it will do is it will calculate the amount of hours you have to work to pay for that TV. So it says that you would have worked 155 hours for that TV, or 19 days on a normal 8-hour work day. You guys, oh my God. Yes. So you're looking at this TV and you're like, 19 days? I worked a month just to get this TV? I think I could get another one. That's a lot of time spent. Absolutely. Yes, Laskaya. Yes. I could have invested that $25 in crypto if I knew how. LOL. That is why we still got to talk, love. You can definitely do that. Definitely. No question. All right. And then another one, she says, curtail your television viewing. Curtail it. You know why? Because it's the advertising that feeds that entitlement beast inside of us. That's what happens. And so stop watching so much TV. Sitting in front of that TV is how my husband sees all these meals and dinners. Why he asking for steak and potatoes from Outback. Because it's on TV right in front of him. Don't use shopping as a form of entertainment. So let's wrap this up. How much richer could you be if you eliminated the things you thought you were entitled to? Okay. I understand that if you had a rough childhood, a rough marriage, honestly, a rough life, a rough work life, you may feel that you need to do things or buy things to make yourself feel better. But I know where you can find fulfillment that won't cost you a dime. Try God. Try leaning on Him for relief and watch the rewards you will receive. God knows your desires, so give Him a chance to bring peace into your life. Get rid of your sense of entitlement, and you may find a much better life with riches untold. Y'all listen, this is one of the things that I thought about. I go to Starbucks every day to work, okay? And it was so funny. Yesterday, was it yesterday? Day before yesterday, I was so tired. Our 2 youngest children have colds and they coughed like all night. I was just exhausted, right? And I just wanted to get some sleep. But I went to Starbucks anyway because I'm committed to 3 hours of uninterrupted work time. And I go from 2 to 5, typically Monday through Saturday. And so on Friday, what I found, I pushed myself to go anyway, all right? But what I am finding is that teammates will come up there and I get to help them with certain things, which is awesome. Do not underestimate the value of relationships. We live in a world right now. I thought about this as I read that part when she was like, try God. It won't cost you a dime. That is so true. But I wanted to add an element. We live in this world right now where we've been virtual for over a year. Okay. At the time of this recording, it is July 11th, 2021. And the reality is that most of us have been pushed into our homes and doing things virtually since March 2020. That is, let's see, April, May, June, July. That is 16 months that we've been doing things virtually. Okay. And what we don't realize is how much, what we've really missed is the human interaction. Now, for a lot of people feel like, no, I love virtual, especially if you're introverted. And that may be true. But the people interaction, you guys, we can't underestimate the value of what that brings and the fulfillment it brings to our life, y'all. The fulfillment that I got just from teammates coming up to Starbucks and sitting up there and getting a little work done, even if it was a half hour, whatever the time, it was so meaningful. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad you came. And I meant it, because it's the people interaction. Don't underestimate the value of relationships. Now, when we were all up there, guess what we didn't do? All of us didn't go and we didn't all buy lattes and all this. No. You know what we did? We sat there and we worked and we enjoyed each other's company. Some people may have grabbed something. The reason that I say this is because you don't have to go out and fulfill this entitlement hunger that you have in order to enjoy yourself. You can have a fulfilling life with people and you don't have to spend a dime while you're doing it. I went to, or spend very little while you're doing it. I went to an outdoor exercise class a few weeks ago. It was $10 to participate. You guys, I had never done group exercise outdoors before. This was the first time I did this. We did it on a field at one of the high schools in the city. And it was amazing. You know why? Because I was there with people, with other women. Afterwards, we got a chance to talk. And it was just really wonderful because it's the human interaction. That's it. It's the human interaction. And so don't underestimate the value of relationships when it comes to entitlement, because it can help you with that sense of entitlement. It can help you because you're enjoying what you guys are doing together. And you don't always have to do things like high ticket things together. You can do things together that cost very little. You can go for a walk together. You can, like here in Chicago, you can go downtown. You can do some sightseeing. There's so much to see. Downtown, you can go for a cup of tea and just enjoy the conversation. You know what I mean? A cup of tea is not going to break you. So different things like that. Find ways to enjoy each other's company. You can go to some of the beautiful parks in your area. Oh my God, there are some gorgeous parks in our area where you can go and you can watch the fountains. You can just have conversation. You can sit in the shade and you can just have a really good time. You can have a picnic with some friends. Take the kids out, have some picnics, do some things like that. While they're playing, you guys can eat. Then they can come and get refreshed and then go do some more playing. It's summertime. Guess what that means? I'm sure somewhere in your area they probably got like movies in the park, so you can go and you can see movies in the park. It's summertime. There are things happening at your library that are completely free. I remember when we lived in Indiana, I would constantly take the kids for craft projects. I would constantly take them for the movies that they would have at the library. And then they would even give the kids like juice boxes and snacks. Like there are so many things that you can do that you can enjoy life that do not feed your sense of entitlement. That's really what I want you to know. There are so many things that you can do. So many things. Okay. And so hopefully those were helpful. So our assignment for today is this: to think of an occasion where you gave into your sense of entitlement. For example, did you take a vacation that ended up putting you further into debt? How much of your sense of entitlement, how much has it cost you? Write down the amount so you can own up to it. Today, I want you to list at least 3 things that you are grateful for. Then in a specific prayer, I want you to give thanks to God for those blessings. As the song says, count your blessings, name them one by one. The following are examples of things to be grateful for. I have a job. I have some place to live. I have my own teeth, all kinds of things. So what is our pledge for today? Our pledge is this: today, I'll think about something in my life that I did or purchased that I now realize was giving in to a sense of entitlement. You guys, that is our call for today. What I really want to do is I also want to share with you something that I'm really excited about. And I have a beautiful, I know some of you guys have inquired about coaching. And the cool thing about it is I am launching this beautiful program. Why am I excited? I'm excited because it's my opportunity to provide an excessive amount of value. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I'm really grateful to be able to share this with you guys. Oh my goodness, God is doing such an amazing new thing, and he's just inundated me with these ideas. And so the time is right the time has come for me to be able to share this with you and open it up to you. And I want to open it up to you guys first here in the communities, before I open it up to anybody else, before I really, really share it with more people. I want to open it up to you. But it's going to be amazing. And it is more of a mastermind. It's not one-on-one coaching. We'll be doing some things together in a group. And I'm really excited because the value that I'll be providing is going to be next level. It's time for you to have next level leadership. It's time for you to have next level accountability. It's time for you to literally step outside of your comfort zone. And why I'm really excited about it is you don't have to be a part of our teams or have worked with me in the past to even be able to do it. It's open to anyone. And I'm going to be sharing that with you guys in the next day or so. I may release some of the information today. I'm thinking about releasing some today. And yeah, I'm really pumped up about it. I'm really excited. Actually, you know what? I'll just share a little bit. It is called Becoming a Six-Figure Woman. And it's really about becoming a six-figure woman that God can lead. And so I'm going to introduce or share some more information, but keep your eyes out for that. We're finishing up a few things. But this is going to be exciting. The value that you're going to receive. My other computer is upstairs. Let me see. Do I have it? I might have access to it on here. I was using my laptop for some things. And so let's see if I can get it on here. I think I might have put it here. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if I have it on here. It's on my other computer upstairs. Do I have my... I don't have that on here. Oh, yeah, I do. Hold on. Let's see if it... That's why I love... the fact that things save in the cloud the way they do, because everything can communicate with everything. I love it. It's such a beautiful thing. Okay, let's see. Hold on. It is opening up because I have it stored in the cloud, and so it's opening. But you guys, so what I'm really excited about with this is this isn't about money for me. Now, in the past, when I've done coaching, I've always priced it high because I want to work with a specific person who is going to take it seriously. You know, they're going to take this thing very seriously. And that's always been really important to me, that they take it serious. And so because of that, I have purposely... And I also knew the value that it would also bring to the table. I knew that the type of value it would bring. Over the last several years, I have leveled up in ways that actually are astounding to me. And when I say astounding to me, I really mean I can see my development. I can see my personal development now. I can hear it in my conversation. I can hear it when I lead women. I can hear it when I talk to, teammates, other people who are not on our team, but they're looking for leadership. I can hear it now. And in the past, I can't say that that's something that I knew. I knew I was working on some things. I knew God was working on me, but now to see how far I've come and to know how I'm getting to these next places, to have a vision that's so clear and so refined. And so I know that the value that we're going to bring in becoming a six-figure woman is about to be exceptional. And it's not just... let me put it this way. We're going to work on a couple of things, okay? You're going to work on money, your mindset, and you're going to get mentorship. Those are the key things about this program. So this is specifically for the woman. You want to earn six figures. If you know that's what you want, six figures in revenue, you know that's important to you. It's going to be for you. But it's about becoming the person who can do that. So you don't just earn six figures because you want to. You have to become the woman that can do that. So this is for the woman who is committed to developing her mindset, right? Doing the head work, doing the heart work, pushing yourself beyond your own self-imposed limitations, learning how money works. Y'all, this is powerful. Developing a positive relationship with money, because you can't earn six figures if you don't even have a good relationship with money. But what does that mean? The person who wants to increase her cash flow in her external environment, but she got to clean up her inner environment first. Like, that's important. Overcoming imposter syndrome, building that attractive seductive kind of confidence. That's who this is for. And so I'm really excited because enrollment, people will be, look what Skya said, that's me. I'm excited already. Well, and the cool thing about this is I'm making it so insanely affordable. I'm really proud of this. And this is nothing but God. The value that we're going to give in this thing is going to be incredible. And so I'll be releasing, you'll be able to enroll in it later this month. And I'm just excited. You guys, it's time. It's time to become that woman that you envision. Like, you envision her. You've taken time, you see her. And you might not even know that's you, but you see her in other women. Like, you see her. You see a woman walk past and you're like, man, you see her. And you're like, man, if only I could have that confidence. If only I could walk in a room like that. If only I could have that type of influence. If only when I spoke, those words came out of my mouth. If only. What I'm telling you is it's not an if only, because you absolutely can be more than that woman that you're looking at. You can supersede what she's done, because God created you specifically to be you. But you can do this hands down. And I'm so grateful that God has opened up my heart for this program at this moment, because I know women need it. You know how I know? Because I knew I needed it. I joined a community, and it's a 7-figure community. And I'm like, man, listen, they force you to level up. You don't stay unless you want to level up. And so this environment, next level leadership, next level accountability. If you really, truly, honestly want to be that 6-figure woman that you have been dreaming about, that you've thought about, and you're like, what is keeping me from making the level of impact that I want to make, but I know I was created to make? This program is going to be for you, y'all. And I'm so excited about it. So thank you for listening today. I'll be releasing more information. I just wanted to give you guys an idea, just a glimpse into what we're going to be talking about and what it's going to look like. I love y'all to life. We will be working on the very next day, which is day number 6. And that is, you cannot buy contentment. And so we'll be right back there, of course, tomorrow. Thank you guys again. Have an amazing rest of your day. Shout out to you guys who hopped on live. Shout out to every single one of you guys watching the replay. Love you. Let's keep digging in. Bye for now.